This call is now being recorded.
Today's topic is data link control. The topic covers data link layer of OSI model. So in this topic, first subtopic is framing. What is framing? Let's take, you have a message of say 1 terabyte, or say let's take 1 GB. That 1 GB data will be fragmented into different frames. Okay, that 1 GB data may be fragmented into 60 frames. Just take these blue colored boxes are your frame data. That is data from upper layer whose variable number of characters can be stored. For this data, there is a header part and there will be a trailer part. Okay, and to mark the beginning of the frame, a flag will be used at the beginning, at the end. Okay, so whenever an information or data is attached with header and trailer, at the both end there will be a flag. That flag is extra information used to identify frame. Okay, so this is known as your framing. So the data link layer needs to pack bits into frame so that each frame is distinguishable from another. Our postal system practices a type of framing. The simple act of inserting a letter into an envelope separates one piece of information from another. The envelope serves as the flag or delimiter. Okay, so this is the figure. In framing, we can have bit stuffing or byte stuffing. Okay, what is byte stuffing? Say sometime whenever you are using flag, okay, flag to identify that the next information is another flag, another frame. Okay, flag separates two frames. Sometime inside data also there can be some information that is identical to frame. The concept is that whatever information you are using for identifying flag, say you are using one, say I am using AX as my information as flag. Whenever this character AX will be in between one frame, then it will be separated from the other frame. Okay, similar, in the data there can be a information like AX. Okay, at that time this information AX, whenever same with this AX, so this flag will disturb the concept that it will separate this data into frame 2 and this data into frame 1. As I have said, flag does what? It separates two frames. Flag is useful to identify two different frames. So you are using AX as a flag information. So whenever AX means last frame and a new frame, in between two frame, that is AX. So sometimes that same information, if it is available in the data itself, means at that time it will be interpreted as that okay, it is a flag. So at the receiver side, that will create a different information. The data will be separated as frame 1 and frame 2, and that should not happen. Okay, so to skip that concept, to so that it doesn't identify it as a wrong way, so in byte stuffing they uses one extra character escape. Whenever an identical information is available in the data, the AX information is same is available in the flag, the data portion, then use extra character, extra byte, that is escape. Okay, so since you are using escape, sometimes if the data itself has a escape, then the next information can be wrongly interpreted, so you have to use another escape before the data escape. Okay, let me repeat the concept, that byte stuffing means adding extra byte in the data segment of a frame. It does so because if the flag information is available same pattern in the data section, if the flag information is also available which is similar to the data, then to skip that we use extra character escape. Okay, so that is for sender side, it is for sender side, and then at the receiver side it does the opposite thing. So frame sent, it is frame received. In the frame received, just remove this extra character escape, so you will get the original data. So this is known as, first part is known as byte stuffing, second part is known as byte unstuffing. It's like whenever in restaurant we say stuff, some chocolate is stuffed in your cake. So in the cake, stuffed, some chocolate are stuffed, and whenever you will remove the chocolate chips, then it is unstuffed. So here in place of chocolate, you can use the word byte. Okay, so that is all about your byte stuffing and byte unstuffing. Is it clear? So let's revise the definition. Byte stuffing is the process of adding one extra byte. So what is that? Adding one extra byte whenever there is a flag or escape character in the text. So whenever flag or escape character in the text is known as byte stuffing. Okay. Similarly, what is bit stuffing? Process of adding one extra zero. Earlier it was byte. Here adding one extra zero whenever 5 consecutive ones follow 0 in the data. Means 5 consecutive 1 follows a 0 in the data. So that time add one extra information. Okay, extra 0. So that the receiver does not mistake the pattern 0, 5, 1, 0 for a flag. Okay, so let's try with an example. So same concept, you are using flag, header part, your information, trailer part, flag, and for flag you are now using bit concept, where you are using 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. Means here total how many ones? 6 1. Okay, here also total 6 numbers of 1. Okay, if for some reason in the data frame, if you have 0 1 1 1 1 0 1, this concept, then what happens? Let's see. So let's take this example. Here, as earlier in the figure, 0, 6, 1, 0. So it will be like flag will be 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. Whenever this bit stream will be there, it will be termed as flag. So this flag and this flag information is 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 0. This flag information is this bit pattern. Now in the data from upper layer means what? In the OSI layer, now from upper layer means from network layer, say in the data link layer receives this bit stream. Okay, this bit stream is received. Then what happens? How bit stuffing will be done? The rule says simple. After 5 consecutive ones follow a 0. Then what? See, after 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So means this portion matches our definition that after a 0, 5 consecutive 1 is followed. If so, then add extra 0 in the position here. Add extra 0. That's why they are adding this 0. Okay. Why they are doing this? Why they are adding this 0? So that, see, they do not get this pattern. If say after 5 1 you will add 0, this pattern will not match with this. This flag information will be different than the data, because here 5 1 0, here 6 1 0. So this flag and this bit information will be different. So if such bit stuffing happens, then if frame is sent from the sender side at the receiver side, it will not be misunderstood. Means what it can do at the receiver side, the extra information, according to the rule, after 5 1, if they get 1 0, that will be removed. So following that rule, again in the unstuffing, after removing 0, it will get remaining patterns like 0. After 3, 4, 5 pattern, there will be no 0, and the bit stream will be like the similar as sent in the sender side. Okay. So let's revise it. Bit stuffing means add extra bit in the data so that the data doesn't looks like same as flag information. The rule used here is that if 5 1 follows a 0, then add 1 bit 0 after 5 1. So it is known as bit stuffing. At the receiver side, the opposite thing happens. If after 0 5 1 you will get another 0, remove that 0, then the original information will be recovered as 0 5 1, and rest of the information may be 1 1 0 0, whatever. Okay. So if there is any question, please ask me in the chat. I hope this bit stuffing and byte stuffing are clear to you. So there is a topic, HDLC, high level data link control. What is HDLC? It's a bit oriented protocol. Okay. Bit oriented, byte oriented, two words. Bit oriented means this concept that you are using bit oriented protocol. Okay. You are using bit, whereas byte oriented means you are using flag, like here escape character you are using. It is known as byte oriented, or it is known as character oriented. So it is type 1 it is type 2. Okay, bit oriented, byte oriented protocol. So now we are having an example of bit oriented protocol known as HDLC, that is used for communication over point to point and multi point links. Okay, so it implements a protocol ARQ mechanism that will be discussed in the later of this slide. Okay, see, what is point to point? Already covered. Between a server and client, or between a primary and secondary node. Primary will send a command, then response will be received, replied by the secondary. Okay, that is point to point. And what is multi-point? There will be a command from the primary, the secondary will give their reply. That is known as multi-point. So at both case, it uses HDLC frame, HDLC protocol. Okay. Sometimes in asynchronous mode, it uses command or response from one node, and then the secondary or the other node replies with command or response. That can be both sides. It is used for asynchronous mode. Now, what is important here to know how HDLC protocol works. HDLC protocol works with the help of three kinds of frame known as I frame, S frame, and U frame. These are the three types of frame used in HDLC protocol to sync between a sender to a receiver. Now our next task is to know the details of the frames. I frame is information frame, where this frame will be used to send information from sender to receiver. With the information, it will be having some extra information like flag, address, control, FCS, flag. As already discussed, always with a frame there will be flag. Okay, that will be common. And for all types of frame, this address means source address, destination address. Like source IP protocol, destination IP protocol will be stored in the address. Control informations are some extra information that is used in all cases, like time value and size of the window. This all information is common for I frame, S frame, U frame. Okay, in the S frame, known as short frame, it uses just to sync between sender and receiver. Okay, and U frame is for management information. Okay, like to control sender and receiver, to sync sender and receiver, to send information, what is the size of the sender window, and what should be the receiver window in the next phase. Okay, so see, in all of this, flag, address, control, FCS, and flag are common. Okay, so difference is between the user information and management information. Okay, so in all cases, the control field format for different frame types will be like, whenever you will get first information, first bit as 0, it will be I frame. Whenever you will get value 1, 0, it will be S frame. Whenever you will get value 1, 1, it is act as U frame. Okay, that is control field. In the control field, what is the first information? That first information will help you that whether the frame is I frame or S frame or U frame. Okay, that is only possible by seeing the bit pattern in the control field. So this is for HDLC. Okay. Sometimes the codes used for U frame control, like as an example, it is giving like whenever you will get 00001, the command will be SNRM, that is set normal response mode. Okay, that is just for example. Just we have covered HDLC. Next topic is point-to-point protocol. Okay, so see, although HDLC is a general protocol, that can be used for both point-to-point and multi-point configuration. One of the most common protocol for point-to-point access is PPP protocol, known as point-to-point protocol. PPP is a byte-oriented protocol. HDLC is a bit-oriented protocol. That is the major difference here. Okay, HDLC is a protocol for point-to-point and multi-point. Okay, whereas point-to-point protocol is only for point-to-point communication. Okay. So as I have just said, point-to-point protocol is a byte-oriented protocol. So it is important using byte stuffing. It uses byte stuffing with the escape character, escape byte 0, 1 1 1 1 1 0 1. Okay. So together this will be 1 byte. Please don't get confused with this as a bit oriented protocol. The complete set 0 1 1 1 1 1 0 1 is a flag. So the total length is byte. Okay, that's byte concept is used. So it is known as byte stuffing. That extra character that will be used always will be of length 1 byte. So PPP frame format looks like this. First and last information will be always flagged. Okay, and as in HDLC, it will be source address and destination address, and it will be like control and protocol, then payload, then FCS. Payload is your data that will be of variable length. Okay, but others length are fixed, like 1 byte, 1 byte, 1 byte. It is 1 or 2 byte. It is 2 or 4 byte, and it is 1 byte. But this length is variable in PPP frame format. In the payload, more details are given here, like code, ID, length, and your data or information. So this together is known as LCP packet. Okay, that is encapsulated in a frame. So example is like 0x01 means configure request contain the list of proposed options and their values, or there can be different types of code. Okay, that will be used for this part. Okay, code. So I think this HDLC concept and PPP concepts are clear to you. Okay. So Deepjyoti says yes, and any other students, have you understood? Okay, Vishal, Swarnalipayal. Roshan, have you understood? Okay, let's continue with the next topic. Please remember that we are studying data link layer concept, data link layer protocols. The most important responsibility of data link layers are first flow control, second error control. Okay, flow control will take care of the flow of the information, whether it should be 4-bit, 8-bit, or it is 16-bit. That is flow control. And error control means, in the last class we have shown that if you are sending a bit stream, if any bits changes, that you have to control. You have to detect the error and you have to solve the error. Okay, you have to control the error. So always remember, task or responsibility of layer 2, known as data link layer of OSI model, is flow control and error control. So together it is known as data link control. Collectively, these two functions are known as data link control. So in this section, next we are going to cover flow control and error control. Flow control definition is that it refers to a set of procedures used to restrict the amount of data that can be sent from sender before waiting for acknowledgement. Okay, sender whenever transmits something to the receiver, receiver replace with a acknowledgement. Okay, so sender should not send more than a limit. Okay, if it is allowed to send 4 bit, then it should wait for 4 acknowledgement. Then only you can send the other 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 number bits. Okay, so flow control refers to a set of procedures used to restrict the amount of data that the sender can send before waiting for acknowledgement. Clear? And error control is based on automatic repeat request, okay, which is retransmission of data. Means if you can detect that some error has occurred, then you should use concept automatic repeat request. If error happens, retransmit the data. Okay, that is the concept of error control. So the protocols that will be used for error and flow control can be categorized for 2 kind of environment. One is noiseless channel, another is noisy channel. I hope you have remembered the terms already covered in the maybe 3rd or 4th lecture, noiseless channel and noisy channel. So for noiseless channel, we have 2 simple protocol. One is simplest, another is stop and wait. And in noisy channel, there are 3 protocols. One is stop and wait ARQ, second is go back and ARQ, third is selective repeat ARQ. So today we are going to cover 3 among 5. Today we will cover simplest stop and wait ARQ. Then in the next lecture we will cover go back and ARQ, selective repeat ARQ. Okay. Let's see the environment of noiseless channel. Let us assume that we have an ideal channel where no frames are lost or duplicated or corrupted. Okay, we are going to assume that whenever you will transmit something from sender to receiver, it is always successful. There will be no loss of frames, there will be no duplicate packet, there will be no corruption of packets. Okay, so it's look like you will always going to send something from sender to the receiver and it is always successful. Okay, that is the concept. Or likely you can just denote in frame of time. You will always send frames and it will be assumed that it is successful. So it is known as your first category, simplest. Okay, it is your simplest protocol where sender will always send something to the receiver and the receiver will not resend anything, will not give any feedback. Okay, that is simplest protocol. But in the second category, stop and wait protocol, whenever sender sends something as data frame to the receiver, receiver replies with an acknowledgement. Okay, that is the concept. So for each frame there will be a ACK. For each frame there will be ACK. Okay, so it is request and it is arrival. It is request and it is arrival. So if there are frame, that there will be acknowledgement. If there are frame, there will be acknowledgement. If there are frame, there will be acknowledgement. Okay. After receiving a acknowledgement, it will send a frame again. That will be default concept in stop and wait protocol. Okay. So that is category 1. That is category 2 for noisy channel, and the third category will be your this. Okay, that is third category. What is that? The third one is for noisy channel. Okay, as you can see, although the stop and wait protocol gives us an idea of how to add flow control to its predecessor, noiseless channels are non-existent. It doesn't exist. So that's why you have to learn for noisy channel, stop and wait, go back and selective repeat. Okay, there is third protocol, fourth protocol and fifth protocol. So let's see the third protocol. Error correction in stop and wait ARQ is done by keeping a copy of the sent frame and retransmitting of the frame when the timer expires. So at the sender side and at the receiver side, the sender side keeps a buffer kind of concept. If say for some reason this is sent, if it gets corrupted for some reason, then that will be sent again in the next time. Okay, it does keeps a copy of sent frame. Okay, copy is kept in a sent frame, and whenever required it retransmit, and it happens only timer expires. Okay, if timer expires then retransmit. Let's see. In this third protocol, stop and wait ARQ, automatic repeat request, we use sequence number to number the frames. Okay, the sequence numbers are based on modulo 2 arithmetic. Okay, so that is for your number sequence number based on 2 arithmetic. It is for sender side. Okay, sequence number. For acknowledgement, number always announces in modulo 2 arithmetic the sequence number of the next frame expected. So that is rule 2. Okay, that is rule 1. Let's see this with an example. Means the sender keeps a copy using a buffer where there will be some pointer. At the receiver there will be some buffer and there will be some pointer. Let's try to understand this. So this explanation is given in this slide where they are saying that frame 0 is sent and acknowledged, that is say case 1. Okay, then frame 1 is lost and resent after timeout, that is case 2. Okay, then what happens? Resent frame is acknowledged and time stops. Okay, then frame 0 is sent and acknowledged, but the acknowledgement is lost. Sender has no idea if the frame or acknowledgement is lost. So after the timeout, it resent frame 0, which is acknowledged. Okay, so let's try to understand these lines with a figure. Just to revise it again, we are trying to learn third protocol, stop and wait ARQ, where from sender to receiver it will send frame. Okay, and for that frame ACK will be replied. That is a case. So try to understand this first part, then we will try to understand the later parts. In this first part, see that sender side is using a window where data frames are marked as 01, 01, 01, and there is a pointer SN. Okay, SN is a pointer that points that you are just transmitting frame number 0. Okay, and at the receiver side it is also maintaining a window whose numbers are frame numbers are marked as 01, 01, 01. So after receiving a successful frame, the pointer will be moved from 0 to the 1, and that will mean that okay, it's my duty now to transmit an acknowledgement ACK 1. That's why it replies with a ACK 1. After receiving ACK 1, the pointer will be moved from 0 to 1 at the sender side. So currently the pointer is at 1, SN is at 1. So next time it tries to transmit frame 1. Okay, if for some reason frame 1 is transmitted and it is lost, then what happens? Since it is lost, it will not reply with ACK, So after some time also the pointer will be in the 1 number frame only, because after this timeout also it will be at pointer 1 because no ACK is received. So after timeout it resent the frame. Let's take it as this frame 1 is received. If it is received, the pointer will be now moved from this position to the next position. So next position, the frame number is 0. Since the frame number is 0, now it transmit ACK 0. If ACK 0 is received successfully, the pointer at the sender side will move from 1 to 0. Okay. So after next start time, it transmit 0, next frame as 0 is transmitted. Okay. After receiving 0, the pointer is moved from 0 to 1. And let's take this receiver now replace with ACK 1. Let's take that this ACK is lost for some reason. Since it is not received at the sender side, the pointer will not be moved from this position to the next position. That's why it is now in the same position. But after timeout, what it does, since it does not receive ACK, so it resent frame 0. The frame 0 is resent again, and now let's consider that 0 is received, so pointer will be at 1. So ACK 1 is replied, and here pointer is moved from 0 to 1. So that is complete explanation. If you have understood, that's good. If not, let's revise it again. Sender side, receiver side maintains window whose frames are marked as 01, 01, 01 at sender side. Same as in the receiver side, it is 01, 01, 01. Both maintains one pointer SN at sender side, RN at receiver side. This rule is simple that if frame is sent, SN will move from one position to another position from left to right. Same way in receiver side, if frame is received successfully, then it moves pointer RN from left to right side one position, and receiver replies with its ACK and the frame number. Okay, that is the simple rule for go wait and ARQ. Sorry, it is stop and wait ARQ. This figure is stop and wait ARQ. So next lecture we will cover go back and protocol. So we'll stop here. You can ask me any question if you have not understood this figure. So any question is welcome. Have you understood the slide? So Dipjyoti Vishal says yes sir, and the girls? Okay, Swarnali Payal says yes sir. रोशन ऑनलाइन है कि नहीं, कुछ बोल नहीं रहा? Okay, then stop here then.